So I've run into some pretty nasty energy vampires in my day. And then I've also had some students really get into some no bueno situations. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about energy vampires. So an energy vampire is basically somebody who takes your energy. Now, most people are not consciously being energy vampires. It mostly looks like this. Person A has really nice high vibrational energy. They're happy most of the time or a good portion of the time. And then we have person B. Person B might, we'll say person B is like Eeyore. All right, so Eeyore. Person A, person, and Eeyore. And person A just knows that when they get around Eeyore, they might get tired, they might feel sick, they might feel exhausted, they might feel drained, they might feel weak, they might have headaches. Person B just knows that when they get around person A, they feel better, they feel brighter, they feel more comfortable in their space. And so that's usually how it works, right? Now, some people aren't necessarily even vampires. Some people in this kind of scenario, I forgot which hand was which. Anyway, some people in this scenario have healing agreements. So you could just have one person giving over their energy willingly. So that's one way that can happen. But another thing that can happen is there's just this sort of energetic exchange where a person is just unconsciously getting sucked dry by this other person who is at a different vibrational frequency. People can get tired, they can feel low vibrational, their sexual energy can be affected, they can feel sick a lot of times. Maybe they don't have the energy to reach their goals or their goals change. That's usually what happens when you're around an unconscious energy vampire. And what they're doing on a psychic level is generally it's happening because there's a cord. So a lot of times people create energetic cords where there's a line of communication between one person and another person. And through that cord, the energy vampire can pull energy out of their space. If they're an angry energy vampire, then they can sometimes punch a hole in a person's aura. You've been around temper tantrumy people. And so if there's a temper tantrumy person, then that person can punch holes in your aura and you can just leak energy. So that's another thing that can happen for people. How they affect the sexual energy is sometimes people cord into actual sexual organs. And so that can create different effects into the person, into both people, right? So one person could be taking the sexual energy and another person could be losing sexual energy. And so they don't know why they don't feel sexual. Now, that's generally the unconscious energy healer. They're sort of like, if you've ever seen that movie, The Cooler, there's this great movie called The Cooler, and it was basically about an Eeyore. And so this Eeyore basically is hired by a gambling casino to go sit at different tables when the tables get too hot. So the table of people are betting and having fun and they're doing all this stuff and they're having a great time and everybody's winning and they're winning and they're winning. So then they send over the Cooler, the Eeyore, and the Eeyore sits down and they give the Eeyore money, and suddenly everybody starts losing. So what's happening with that? And there are people that are like that. Sometimes like energy vampires can spread around some bad luck. And so what happens is that their frequency is so low. They have so much negative self-talk on the energy level. If you read it, we would see energy in pictures. They're pictures of depletion, of victim, of whatever, basic negativity are so strong and vibrating so intensely in their space that the people around that person start matching that frequency. That's what we do as humans. We match frequency with the people around us. That's why you always hear business people talking. You make as much as your top 5 friends. What's happening is your top 5 friends, you're all matching energy with those people. So it's easier to elevate when you're in that elevated state. But in this case of the Cooler, the energy vampire, everybody decreases because they're around this person. I'm going to say he's unconscious. He just knows he has bad luck. He's probably not like actively trying to be an energy vampire, right? Now, on occasion, and this is super rare, 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 rare. I don't want you guys thinking that this happens all the time because it really doesn't. Like, so that was an extreme case. Some of the energy vampires that I've run across mostly are that are more conscious about it. It's more kind of like energy tools meets narcissism. And so you have a lot of the same narcissistic tools that people use, the gaslighting, the jokes that aren't jokes, the constant little digs that are trying to mess with your subconscious, the DARVO, the deny, attack, reverse, victim. So they can use a lot of that, particularly the gaslighting, but then they can combine it with a lot of promises and a lot of wishes and then the occasional energy thing. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the signs that people might be experiencing if they are around a conscious energy vampire. So if you're around a conscious energy vampire, then some of what you might experience is you can age really quickly. So when somebody is having a negative energy, when they're connected to a conscious negative energy vampire, they'll start aging. Their face can start getting they'll start looking older very quickly. It's pretty amazing. Maybe you're going to have thoughts in your head that aren't yours. Just thoughts. Sometimes you'll hear that person's voice in your head. Sometimes you'll just hear thoughts that are just like, why am I thinking that? I've never thought that. Why am I feeling like I should quit my job or leave my man or I don't know, kill myself, or get depressed, or whatever weird thoughts like that aren't normally there. Those, if you're getting a lot of that, one of the things, and there's several things that it could be, but one of the things is you could be being affected by an energy vampire. Sometimes that energy vampire could do energy work to make you less confident, or somebody like me who's a healer is like doing everything they can to heal the person to get them to be more confident, blah, blah, blah. But if you are running into a negative energy vampire, they are going to be using tools to make you less confident. So if you're suddenly less confident around someone a lot, then that's a sign. And again, they might just be an asshole, but they also might be an energy vampire. Another thing that can happen when you're around, and this is both of them, is you could get headaches and you could feel really cloudy. Like everything is white and foggy and cloudy, and you have a hard time getting things going. Sometimes even the whole room will feel cloudy. That's some signs. Your issues suddenly start rising up. You're like, I thought I dealt with this. Why am I feeling insecure? Why am I feeling depleted? Why am I feeling sick again? Why am I feeling this? So sometimes that's an energy vampire that can be affecting you. Your luck, a person's luck can start getting a lot worse. And they can be encouraged to change their life really quickly in not positive ways, but it's all phrased like it's really positive. If the person is skilled enough, they can just get you on like you're anxious, just a lot of anxiety and anxiousness, and nothing you do is making it go away. So that can be part of it. Now, none of this stuff is permanent. Absolutely not. 99.9999% of the energy vampires out there, all you need to know how to do is tell the difference between your energy and their energy. That's all you need to do. Now, I know I say that all because that's actually takes work and it takes some knowledge, but the more you get in touch with who you really are, the more you can really start to tell the difference between you and other things. So we're made up of most people, unless they do this work, are made up of other people's emotions and thoughts and energy fields. And it's all becomes this nice little swirly mix of you and a whole bunch of other people, right? We're all just energy moving at different rates of speed. When you start consciously getting back to you, to ground zero, to releasing other people, protecting your space, knowing what's the difference between you and other people, and knowing the difference between your thoughts and the thoughts of other people that are influencing you. Once you start getting that, we call it seniority. When you start getting seniority over your body, your mind, your field, you start getting all of that. Then what happens is once you do that, then when some invasive aspect comes in, then you can very easily just see it, get rid of it, release it. You can even just go, okay, I'm going to ground and release that energy, that person's energy down my grounding cord. So just that right there will heal 99.9% of the stuff out there. It's an kind of more intense situation, then knowing your energetic anatomy beyond just the aura and the chakras. There's a lot of energetic. We have a whole host of energetic anatomy. So learning how to get in and deal with all of that and deprogram and stuff like that can absolutely help with energetic vampires and help get them out of your space and help get their claws out of you so you can get back to normal. But if for some reason you're really being affected by one of these people, then by all means, it's not the end of the road. You are not stuck. You don't have to continue to have that situation. You can get out of it. So that is a little bit about energy vampires. Now know the difference between an unconscious and a conscious energy vampire, how they're affecting you, you know, how to get out of it. And I hope that was useful information for you. If you like this, feel free to like and subscribe. My name is Kawena Charlot. I am the director of the Intuitive Path Academy, and I also do one-on-one sessions with people. Anyway, if you like this, you can subscribe. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.